Yes, it's not clickbait. I believe the next move for crypto is right around the corner, and I want you guys to understand what I'm going to say, because packing your bags right now, I think, is undeniably the best move to make in the most non-financial way possible. With the fear and greed index right now showing some pretty low numbers, 22 out of 100. This is extremely low. I think it's very important for us to have a look at the market in a way to assess fear and greed. To understand where we are right now is completely bloody normal. I'm not getting upset with you guys or some of you guys for being a little fearful right now, because I'll be honest, I think it's pretty warranted in many cases, because you're putting a lot of money in the line here, right? You're putting so much of your hard-earned cash into an industry that you likely don't know much about, or you're too busy with other stuff in your life to really be able to research. Of course, with a lack of knowledge comes more panic, more fear. This is the Wall Street cheat sheet overlaid with the crypto market over the last cycle, including this cycle. And funnily enough, this thing pretty much matches exactly. I don't know how well you can see this because it is quite faint, but the fear and greed sort of, I guess, emotions that do run markets. By the way, guys, markets are just human psychology. It's me versus you, and whatever we both believe or don't believe happens. And you can see it follows pretty exactly. Now, as we are sitting where we currently are in the market, okay, we're right before the massive pump. Now, this isn't the chart that makes me so convinced that we're about to see a move to the upside, but I did want to point out that exactly how things are playing out on that sheet is, funnily enough, playing out as intended. So we can pull up a million different charts here. I've done this the last week and the week before that and the week before that. Okay, and a lot of people down below are saying, Kyron, we're sick of seeing the same stuff. Stop talking about the same or similar charts. We get it. But then I see so many people still so fearful that I need to remind people that, hey, you can get out if you want to. Like, no one's holding you hostage here and telling you to stay in the market. If you want to sell at a loss or get out of the market, even if you are break even, go ahead. Be my guest. I don't really care, but I'm here, as well as the people in the industry, to look to make some life-changing gains, and we're willing to put up a little bit of risk in that same sort of case to benefit from what's about to come. So here's the chart I want you to become familiar with, at least for this video. What we're doing here is tracking Bitcoin's price on a weekly time frame. So every single bar is 1 week in time, and we can actually find local high to local lows over the last 4.5 or 5 years from about mid-2019. And we kind of get to this weird pattern where a lot of these larger moves, again, local highs and local lows, actually happen within an average of 28 weeks. Now, again, I'm going to move my big head. My mother would say it's pretty, but I guess others would disagree with that. So just so you can screenshot this right now and go ahead and actually plot this on the chart yourself and examine it further. It's not difficult, guys. Local high, local lows. But for those of you TA guys that want to expand on this, here's your chance. Okay, so welcome back. In this case, we do have a sort of trend, right? Now, we do have some gaps in between each of these periods in time, of course. Sometimes it's about a month or two, but for the most part, these do kind of work back on back against each other, right? But again, in the same respects, it's just local highs and local lows that we're doing. And again, average of 28 weeks. Some of these go as high as 32 weeks. Some of these go as low as 23 weeks. But where we are right now is where I want to take your attention to, which is about 25 weeks after the last local high, as you can see over here. Now, we have had a pretty large drawdown. Of course, we went down to $49,000 here, wicked down, and then came back up again. So that could be classified as a local low. Okay, but the thing is, we are still moving in this area. We're still moving in this range. Now, again, given the average from local high to local low and vice versa is about 28 weeks, we could possibly expect in the next 3 to 4 weeks here a possible move to the upside, but no higher than, at least based on history, 32 weeks so far. Again, history is only as good as it is until, of course, it's invalidated, but ultimately, I would say that over the next few weeks, about over here, late September ultimately, to probably latest case, based on history, about late October, we could expect a move beginning. Now, again, September is a very bearish month, all right? So we are expecting September not to pan out, which would be good because it would possibly make the case that we could go lower. Again, this is just on average here. It could already have happened. We might be having a push to the upside here very soon. We have people complaining about we in a recession, for example. We can talk all day about the rate cuts and possible rate hikes that might occur. As you can see right here, high probability over the next 9 meetings that we do see cuts, or at least stagnate/cuts. But ultimately speaking, it's looking good. So whether you want to make the case of a recession or any sort of war transpiring against something over there in Asia, we have, of course, the Ukraine-Russia war. We have Middle East. There's so much stuff happening around the world, like anything could happen. It is life. But what we've seen so far is that crypto has been pretty well off in these sort of black swan events. If there is an upcoming bull run, we had COVID over here really scare people, and we still had a bull run. So I'm not saying it's definite, but again, going back to what I was saying before, we kind of have to hedge in a certain direction. Now, what I'm personally doing is expecting us to possibly move here after September, after we possibly find a new local low, give it a few weeks, and then I think we'll likely begin going up. And I'm pretty confident in this, right? It's not the first call I've made based on moving up, all right? I've pretty much called, roughly speaking, back in, I think it was August of last year. I made this chart, and I said, guys, we're very, very close to having the bull run really kicking off here. And I said it would probably start picking up in around December. Of course, it really kicked off over in October, thanks to the fact of the BlackRock situation. But I did this based on a few different things. First and foremost, based on volume. We normally see volume pick up in a bull run 14 months prior to the halving, and then 8 months, it really starts picking up again. And then we begin seeing prices go astronomical. Of course, this happened in both 2018 and 2020 cycles. So we have 2 cycles to go off in this case. Not to mention, but of course, the more obvious side of things, from the halving to the top, in the last 2 cycles was exactly 548 days each. Not like, let's just kind of round to the nearest day, like exactly 548 days a pop. And then from the top to the halving, we had pretty much 20-day difference. Now, when you're talking about years in between, that's quite impressive. So ultimately, patterns are forming here-ish. That's why many people begin to believe that, hey, we're likely going to see pretty much the all-time high in about October, November of 2025. But I'm not really sold on that exactly because it's a little too obvious. Again, we've noted that things can work in patterns here, yet people choose to ignore them, so who really knows? But in saying that, I am feeling very confident that we do begin moving up here in the next few weeks, and you will see all over YouTube, all these YouTube commentators getting very, very bearish, and then all of a sudden flipping bullish, and let's all forget about the million pieces of content we made about the market going down, and we're in a recession, and forget about it all, guys. If you have a look at the macro markets, real estate, stock, and so on, you will notice that really, we haven't had that high, that real true peak yet, that euphoria or greed that usually indicates that blow-off top moment, okay? Definitely not for crypto. Let me tell you right now, for those folks, and again, no offense to you, who are saying that we are pretty much at or have had the bull run based on the fact that crypto is just moving sideways, nothing to do with macro markets, I think that's absolutely, well, let's just say, for lack of a better word, kidding yourselves. We have hit the all-time high. We're actually below it right now from the previous cycle. It doesn't work like that. Now, I can bring up, like I said before, many charts that indicate this that I've been pulling up over the last few weeks. I'm not going to sit here and use these charts for too much more because you guys understand that a lot of these indicate we're nowhere near the top of this market, at least based on history. So let me draw your attention now to some very important things you have to understand. While I say, macro news right now doesn't indicate an immediate, definite, disqualification of the bull run, we do have to consider that things can transpire. Now, one of the most important things you have to understand is, obviously, if a Republican candidate, in this case, we'll talk about Trump, wins, it's going to be great for crypto. He's pro-crypto. He's making his own crypto token. I'm not getting political with you. I don't care who you vote for. Over here, at least in the friends and family that I know, no one cares about who you vote for. We're pretty lackadaisical, right? So I don't care who you vote for. Really do not care. But the Democrats, if they win, I must admit for crypto, it's no good. Matter of fact, it's not good for any market. Why? Well, of course, they're very anti-crypto, but bringing in this new taxing unrealized gains law where you'll be taxed on the unrealized profit you have made in any investment, you're going to find that there's going to be less money invested in any market, especially the most speculative being crypto, because these big billionaires and multimillionaires, guess what? They got all these taxes to now pay. They aren't going to care about putting money into crypto. They might, it's not going to be as much as what they were intending to. Now, I think that that's probably not going to happen. That doesn't sound like a very logical human thing to do to people. However, it's the fear that will then happen if they get in. Again, markets are just psychology. It's all fear and FOMO and so on. So if they win, I'm just saying if they win, I don't care, again, what really happens here. But if they do, and they don't go through with it, at least in the interim until they cancel it, you're going to have people extremely worried. That could actually cancel the bull run or at least postpone it for a while. And unfortunately, if it is postponed enough, I do believe we will draw into possibly a true recession. We'll really feel a recession or even a depression. A massive drawdown is coming. A massive blow-off top will, I think, occur over the next few years. And then we're going to get into some pretty tough times, I do believe, in about 2026 to about 2029. So if they postpone the bull market long enough, I think we're going to end up going down. But guys, we're talking about years away. We're talking about an if then that's so in the future, it's not even worth considering. But like I said, macro events I don't think are that impactful right now. So don't sort of be thinking to yourself, oh, we're moving sideways. If that's your only indicator you're using to say this is a bad thing, please reconsider, okay? Not reconsider getting in or out of crypto. Do your own thing on financial advice, but reconsider your thought patterns. That'll do today's video, guys. I hope you have enjoyed. Look, my bags are packed. I'm stacking some cash right now just in case we do see September get pretty ugly, which is what I'm expecting before moving up. But I'd love to know what you're doing down below, okay? Thank you all. Talk to you all soon. Take care. Bye-bye.